Professional speakers, welcome to the National Speakers Association of Southern California Board Member Spotlight. I'm Sam Osborne, the current Director of Marketing, and we are so honored and excited to be interviewing today the Secretary of our wonderful chapter, Dan Faill. Dan, how are you today? Say hello to all the listeners and the watchers.
You know, I am great and getting better, and just happy to share the platform, maybe not the stage, but the platform with you, Mr. President-elect, fingers crossed.
It could be happening.
Dun, 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 dun. / I'm sorry in advance for being your secretary.
All good, all good. We are going to be asking Dan a few questions about what it's like to be the secretary. And also this series is really about encouraging members to consider a board member position or even joining a committee. So Dan, no pressure, but you've got to sell the secretary role. And we're going to start with a few easy questions, get into the role, and we'll see where it goes. Sound good?
Hey, I'm down.
First of all, where are you on the call today and what have you been doing?
In terms of where am I at, like physically, I'm at home because it's nice to work from home. So, I think just overall, it's been a good week. What's fun is that I fly out next week to be a commencement speaker.
Yep.
So, just overall, it's a good time. It's a good time to be.
Nice. And I always ask each of our guest speakers, what's something that you're doing lately that you're enjoying that's not to do with speaking?
Reading, actually.
No way.
The opposite of what we do. No, a few years back, I got into a series, or an author, I guess, that created a series, Brandon Sanderson. And so I have finished all of his big books. I finished all of his small books, and now I'm reading the books that he's about to turn into a movie that he just sold the rights to Apple TV to. So I'm doing a lot of reading. Like, I'm not watching a lot of shows and movies like I usually do, and I've just been cranking through both hard copy books. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
And my Kindle.
Very cool. Well, I'm secretly doing the same thing. We're probably doing the speaker business, a disservice by reading, studying. What?
Well, between reading and then a lot of it is sitting in LA traffic, shuttling my kids around. So I got two teenagers, and that tends to be what I do. It's just free dad Uber.
Good man. All right. Let's talk about the secretary role. First of all, what drew you to NSA SoCal and what led you to step up to the role of secretary?
Yeah. So it's funny. We've had him out a couple of times as a guest speaker for our chapter, but Tom Singer, who used to do like the Conference Catalyst MC work and does a lot in the speaker world, used to host Speakernomics, the NSA podcast. But I have known him for probably 15 years or more. He was a guest speaker at an agency that I was a part of. And so he came in and then was just like sitting alone at lunch. And one of the things that he told was stories about his kids. And it felt so great to see the marriage of both of those concepts of both talking about kids with the passion of speaking. And he did it in a way. And I had 2 newborns at the time. So I sat down with him and it was just me and him at a table for 8. And I got to pick his brain. And one of the, maybe not first things, but he said, like, are you involved in NSA? And meanwhile, I'm thinking, I don't know enough national secrets to be a part of NSA. I don't know what you mean. And so he was real big on check out NSA, both national, check it out locally. And I just kind of brushed it off as not right now. Oh, I'm just a little speaker. Like, I just do a thing here or there. And so this would have been maybe 2018, 2019. 2018, I went into full business for myself, left my W-2 job, went full-time speaking, and realized that that's hard. And
congratulations, though.
Thank you. But when you're a solopreneur, that's difficult enough. And then really, when you think about LA as such a small city, to be able to build a network, that's been one of those other areas that I said, I need to get involved. Let me hit up Tom to see what he knows. And his whole thing is speakers get speakers gigs.
Yeah.
And who you surround yourself with as speakers is important to how you level up as well.
Yeah.
And I registered, this would have been I guess spring 2019, I registered to attend my first NSA, at the time, NSA LA meeting. And so met some great people, had some good connections. And then of course there was I don't know if you remember, a little global pandemic.
Just a small
And
one.
at the time I didn't know if NSA was going to be a good outlet for me because we're also in a pandemic where you're a public speaker without the ability to be in the public.
Yeah.
And so joined a couple virtual sessions, and it's just been really cool because I think my consistency in showing up when there was a vacancy on the board, the old director of marketing or director of membership, excuse me, the director of membership took a different job and had to move out of LA. And because I had been on several Zooms throughout the pandemic, the position opened up. The president reached out and said, "We've got a short-term vacancy if you'd be interested in serving." And that's really kind of how I got involved a little bit on the board. And honestly, I don't know that I've left the board since.
Yeah. Short
Um,
term. Short
yeah,
term.
it was a short term role in 2020. That has now we're in what 2026. So
Yeah, we
um,
are.
it's just been good, and it just kind of happened by happenstance, and it was the perfect storm of events that led me to where I'm at now.
Dan, what does the position of secretary actually do, and where do you feel you have the most impact?
What do I do? I heard cats. No, I think right. The position of secretary, like, it doesn't sound overly sexy in general in terms of all the other positions, marketing, membership, president, like secretary. And so I think I knew I wanted to stay involved on the board after serving for a few years on the as the director of the academy. And so for me, when I think about secretary, a lot of our board transitions in our leadership. And so looking at it from a sense of where do we need to keep old knowledge
Mm,
while infusing new knowledge, but then also what are our systems that are old that need revamping,
yeah.
specifically constitution, bylaws, standard operating procedures, some of that's really needed. Because I found that not that we were out of compliance with our bylaws, but there were old bylaws that referenced NSA Greater Los Angeles chapter. And we've not been that since before 2017, 16. So
Mm.
some of it was just cleaning up our process. And so when I reached out to I guess now outgoing board members, they had just kind of said, like, yeah, if you've got any desire for bylaws revisions and what does it look like for that, we'd love to keep you on. So I see the secretary as a historian of sorts to keep
Yeah,
some of
that's a
those
nice way
records
of
for.
seeing it. Nice way of
Yeah,
seeing it.
and so to look at it from a what did we vote on, what did we discuss, and really keeping, and I'm pretty like specific when I come to how I keep my minutes because I want to make sure we know what was the actual motion, not oh yeah we voted to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, well why? What was the discussion? And so for me, it's a historian of sorts, but then also um, almost kind of like an ombudsman who knows like here's what our bylaws say. Do we have quorum? Great. I know that we need 5 of 8 people to have quorum. So rather than always relying on the president to have just the complete repertoire and or repository is what I meant to say
Yeah.
of all the knowledge, the secretary really helps with that. So it's more than just minutes. I see it as a way to provide stability. I think throughout the years for NSA to be able to keep good records that we can look back on if needed.
Beautiful. Thank you. How has the role served you personally, and what's something you didn't expect?
I mean, this is pretty cliche, but it's the people that I've stayed involved for. And while I love serving the chapter and love serving LA, and I'm certainly a big proponent for being involved in the chapter as a whole, it's cliche to say the people, but it's the people. So I ran the NSA SoCal Speakers Academy for 3 years, NSA LA, NSA
Mhm.
SoCal Speakers Academy for several years. And to see the amount of people that have come through that and their journey, I think for me, that has been what I didn't expect is those not only connections, but the championing of others.
Yeah.
So our president, outgoing president, member of the academy, or former academy alum, we've got I think 3 people on our board that are former academy members that
Yeah.
came through when I was in charge. And so there's something really cool and powerful in that investment in other speakers. But then outside of just our chapter, looking at it from just the legends and the incredible people that SoCal has brought in as guest speakers,
Yeah.
from both the academy perspective, but then also our chapter perspective. I think all those interactions have given me a really good mirror on how I am not only able to see my business, but how I approach my business and my role, both on the board and as a speaker.
For someone who's thinking I'm too busy for a board position, how much time, be real, does it take, or how much time does the role really take,
Yeah.
and how is it supported, or how have you been supported?
Several ways. I think as cheesy as this is, right? It's the you only get out what you put in.
Bring the
And,
cheese.
and so right,
Bring the
you
mac
get
and
out of
cheese.
it what you put into it. And so I could just sit and be a member and not be in the know and just try to attend things when I want or felt like it. But for me, it's a being a part of the chapter and the board specifically. I want to give and I want to give back. And I think that's why I did the academy for so long, being able to invest in that. But then really it's the for the secretary role, leaving the academy after 3 years, it was time for me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
transition out, knowing that it needed a good evolution, and quite frankly, seeing what they've done with it this year, I'm excited for next year
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So like I'm very excited to see all of that. But I knew I wanted to stay involved and engaged. And for the secretary, I would say it's not an overt amount of time. Couple hours a week at absolute most is probably it. But then obviously when it comes around board meeting time or chapter meetings for the guest speakers, there's a little bit more involvement and engagement there. A lot of it is
But then
also
you
back.
kind of then you're a member attending an event, you know, so it
Yeah,
kind of blends.
it does, and it does, and I think part of that really comes back to if we look at it from a 1 to 3 hours a week, it's not a person forward event. And I think coming out of the academy where I was meeting every other Wednesday for 2 hours with guest speakers and then fielding anywhere from 10 to 25 academy members, that was just a lot for me to maintain and
Yeah.
manage. And so I knew I wanted to kind of scale it back, but still be involved. And at the time, we needed a lot of back end systems and document support and structure. And so I mentioned to Nick, the outgoing president, that I was like, what if I just helped revise bylaws and then became familiar with them so that I could keep us on that sort of a trajectory as we grow as a group. I mean, and we've got an incredible board of directors, and it's
Yeah.
been an absolute honor to serve this past year as secretary, and then even this coming year, and just to see everything. That's what's kept me involved, and it's supported through board members and board positions. Not that this position needs a lot of support because I don't have committees, but really looking at it from a sense of how do I support others is how I see the secretary role.
Nice. What qualities make someone a great fit for the secretary role or a board member role, even if they don't feel ready?
Who's ever ready?
Yep.
Right? Ready. What does ready mean? We're never ready for anything. I wasn't ready to go full time until I realized I hated a cubicle job. And I was like, you know what? I don't need this. And I had a good opportunity. And I talk about failure and I was scared to try and fail. So
Yeah.
like this is if you don't feel ready, congrats. Welcome to the human race.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're interested in a board position or committee role, great. I think the only thing that you truly quote need is believing in helping others, is that belief that we're better as speakers together. I'm a leadership speaker around failure, and I'm a white dude, and there's a lot of white leadership speakers. That doesn't mean that they're taking my business, right?
Yeah.
So I see it very truly as NSA does, is like, this is just about a bigger pie. So how do we as a board open up to be bigger pies? And I think the shift towards committees and the shift towards engagement is the right way to do it. I would say another quality is if you like being in the know, not well, I know something you don't know, but being able to shape the conversations, being able to shape the trajectory of an entire, kind of a group, especially around a city that's as diverse and as large as SoCal. Like there's just some really cool power and abilities in that.
Yeah, I like to think of it as like we're actually shaping an industry.
Yes.
Like end of story. Like you get involved and somebody got to do the work. Somebody got to
why not
provide these
right
things.
like
it's cool.
I love, and I think that's, and maybe it's just because I come from a higher education role of like helping people and coaching up, but I mean that's why I did the academy, is being able to help shape someone's path and being that person who others can rely on.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think any speaker has ego and likes the spotlight. That doesn't mean that that's the reason to be on a board.
Yeah.
I can share a spotlight. In fact, now I like giving the spotlight significantly more than taking it. And so I think it's just a matter of, if you like to serve and if you like to be able to make an impact and a difference, that's what I think that this board and the committee structures can continue to do to elevate our entire industry, speaking or not, entire industry.
Yeah. So that leads into the next question of, if someone is listening or watching to this and they're kind of sitting on the fence, what would you say to them?
So remember how I said I'm just reading a lot and not watching shows? That's a little bit of a lie, because I'm currently rewatching The West Wing.
Oh, good.
And there was an episode all around like voting, rock the vote. And CJ Craig, who plays the press secretary, she says that decisions are made by those who show up. And so I'm of the opinion that if you're on the fence, or if you're thinking about it, you got to show up, right? It's you get out of it what you put into it. And so stepping into leadership is just like stepping into life. You just take the next step and then the next step. And so, and to quote Brandon Sanderson, it is about the journey, not the destination. So how are we going to view this journey of speaking, this journey of the industry, as opposed to just, here's the finish line?
Yeah. Okay. Last question, a bit of a fun one. If the secretary role had a tagline or a movie title or a book title, what would it be?
Okay. Chaos coordinator. No, it's not that at all. That's me being snarky, y'all.
1001 Nights.
Right. If I had to give it a title, maybe this is just because I used to watch Game of Thrones, but it's almost like the keeper of votes, voices, and histories.
Yes.
Right. Like I sit on the small council and provide the keeper of voices, votes, and history.
With a boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Make a soundtrack by Hans
Cue intro
Zimmer.
music. There we go.
Fantastic. Dan, thank you so much for your time and sharing your enthusiasm for board role, secretary, and on behalf of the members and the board and myself, thank you for what you do.
Of course, yeah, happy to help.
And if you are listening or watching this and you are inspired about becoming a board member, or take Dan's shoes, I mean, he's got pretty cool shoes, contact hello@nsasocal.org, and if you see one of us at a meeting, come say hi. We're a friendly bunch and we'd love to talk to you about it.
100%.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Perfect. Thanks.
We'll cut it there.